Hey, good morning, good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? How are you guys doing today, man? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with this inspirational morning walk. So here you can see here is a rainy day in Houston today. It just stopped enough. I can get my word out, but it's rainy after all the nice, beautiful sunshine yesterday. The rest of the week is rain in the forecast, but I can still get out here. It's stopped enough that I can get out and just do what I got to do. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. So you see a lot of overcast skies there, but that's all good. It's nice and cool. It's nice and cool. I can do most of my work indoors today. But yes, that's a hunt. Good morning, cuz. Good morning. How are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get through this before any sprinkles come. But yeah, so today what I want to talk about today. First, before I get into the word, man, I just want to encourage people to go onto the YouTube. And if you know you haven't subscribed, just go on there and subscribe. It's easy. If you throughout the day, I forward a link. The link will have my picture on it. Well, that's the YouTube link. If you click on that, you're going to see the subscribe in red, and you could just need to click on that, and that would subscribe. It's going to cost you nothing, but it's going to, because before I go live on YouTube also, I need at least about 1,000 subscribers before we can go live there, so we can just spread the word to more people. I can reach more people at one time. All right, so anyhow, so today what I want to talk about today, you know, when I was growing up, I had this question. You see, some things that some people are doing, and these people doing, and they're getting away with it, and you're like, man, why God not stopping these people from doing what they're doing, right? Vice versa, you did some stuff in your time, and you're still here. You're like, man, I don't know how I come through that, man. You know what I mean? I don't know how I come through that. Now that you're older, you look back at some of the things you do that was so, so dangerous, and you made it through it, and vice versa, you see some people doing what you think is wrong, and you're like, why God is not stepping in, man? Why he's not stepping in, right? So we want to see, there's many reasons for that. So, but we're going to look at one little story here. We're going to look at Solomon's story and see how that could be, and there's a lot of teachable moments. Renita, good morning. How are you doing today? So we're going to look at, there's a lot of teachable moments in this little part of Solomon's story, right? And we can see, number one, how God keeps his covenant. Number two, how what we do, how it's going to live after us, meaning how it's going to affect our children, whether it's in a negative or a positive way, right? So we can look at this and see Solomon's story. We talk about it for the people listening. We talk about, this story very well, but we can look at it from this angle right now, right? This angle right now, because I know a lot of new people listening. So I can kind of go it over, and we can use it and look at it from a different angle, right? So when you look at 2 Samuel 7, 2 Samuel 7, we can look from 11 through 16, right? So furthermore, the Lord declares that he will make a house for you, a dynasty of kings. He's talking about King David, right? The promise God made to David. So furthermore, the Lord declares that he'll make a house for you, a dynasty of kings, for when you die and are buried with your ancestors, I will raise up one of your descendants. Your own offspring, I will make his kingdom strong, right? So he promised in David, when he died, he can raise up one of his own descendants, one of his own kids, make them king, and he can make his kingdom strong, right? He is the one who will build a house, a temple for my name, and I will secure his royal throne forever. I will be his father, and he will be my son. If he sins, I will correct and discipline him with the rod, like a father would do. But my favor will not be taken from him, as I took it from Saul. Remember King Saul, after he took his anointing away from him. He was still sitting on the throne, but he took his anointing away from him when he anointed David, and the people was more respecting David as the king, even when David was not the king as yet, but he took his anointing away from Saul. He's saying, I'm not going to do that to your descendants who are going to take the throne. I'm not going to take my anointing away as I did with Saul, whom I removed from your sight. Your house and your kingdom will continue before me for all time, and your throne will be secure forever. So that's a promise he make to the Father right now. He make this promise to David. This is what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to make whoever take over your offspring. I'll make the kingdom strong, and your throne will be secure forever. Man, that's a mighty promise he make to David there, right? That's a mighty promise he make to David, right? So, because David was a man after God. David wasn't a perfect man. He did make a lot of mistakes. Matter of fact, King Solomon, who we can go and look at his little life, he is the child from, you remember the woman Bathsheba, where he saw her bathing on the rooftop, was the next man's wife, and David took her and had this child Solomon with her, and then he sent the man to war and tell the people put him on the front line, and the man get killed so he could marry Bathsheba as his wife. So David wasn't a perfect man by no means, but David was a man after God. He repented when he realized he was wrong. He repented. He still followed God's law, and he's a man after God. So that's why God said, okay, I can make this kind of promise to you. I know you're a man after me. You're perfect, but I know your heart was fully engaged with me, right? You didn't follow no other gods. You did your wrong. You repent and you move on. But following other gods is a big thing. You didn't do that. You still honor me and respect me, right? So now let's move on to 1 Kings 11, 1 through 3. When his descendants actually take the throne, let's see how we can carry out this promise here now. So Solomon is the one who took over. So now King Solomon loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter. He married women from Moab, Ammon, Edom, Sidon, and from among the Hittites. The Lord had clearly instructed the people of Israel, you must not marry them because they will turn your hearts to their gods. Yet Solomon insisted on loving them anyway. He had 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. And in fact, they did turn his heart away from the Lord, right? So number one, he going against. He's different from his father. God tell them, don't marry these women because they can change your heart away. But Solomon decided, I'm going to do my own thing, man. And so it's like people who going to do their own thing, right? Doing a lot of wrong. Because when you say to change your heart away, I mean, you start to follow other gods. When you say follow other gods and he did wrong in the sight of the Lord, when the Bible puts stuff like that, is iniquity, is obio, is witchcraft, is voodoo. That's what they're doing in a nutshell, right? That's what they're doing. So Solomon doing that, you was like, why God is not stepping in and disciplining this guy, man? You see people like you're growing up and people doing a lot of wrong, and you're like, man, there's not a God. Why God is not doing anything to these people? Man, and I could do half of what they're doing. I get in punishment. I'm getting discipline. And these people like to just get in the way with stuff, right? Like I said, there's many reasons for that. But this is one we could look at. It could be the cause of that, right? So Solomon went on and do all of these things. So let's go on to 9 now. 1 Kings 11:9, right? Then the Lord was angry with Solomon, for his heart had turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice. So God come to him twice and said, Solomon, you got to stop this thing. What you doing? He had warned Solomon specifically about worshiping other gods. But Solomon did not listen to the Lord's command. So Solomon, look, God, I can do my thing. You remember Solomon was the richest man and the wisest man and all of that. When he was following God, God had blessed him. But God keep telling him all the time, bro, if you continue to worship me and follow me, I'm going to continue to make you great and strong, right? But Solomon went off on his own turn. He married these women. Now they're pulling him away from God, right? So now the Lord said to him, since you have not kept my covenant and have disobeyed my decrees, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your descendants, right? God gets so mad with him. God said, I'm going to take this kingdom from you, Solomon. I'm going to take it from you. But remember, right? Let's go down and see what happened. But for the sake of your father David, I will not do this while you are still alive, right? For the sake of, you remember we tell David up here in Samuel, your house and your kingdom will continue before me for all time. Your throne will be secure forever. And he tell him how he can take care of the son. Whoever take over the throne, he can take care of them, right? So God, so it's just two things here. God honor his covenant. So when God make a promise to you about something he's going to do for you, he's going to carry through with it. That's what I want to say. So sometimes when you see some of these people doing wickedness and they're getting away with it, and you're like, man, God, where are you? Why are you stopping these people from doing what they're doing. And you're getting confused, right? But here God said, for the sake of your father David, I will not do this while you were still alive. So God left this man on the throne even doing all of this wickedness. Because God had made a promise to his father. Now we could say, is that right? Is that wrong? Is that fair? But this is how God operates. And it's on the flip side, right? If you do wrong and he say you're going to punish your descendants, they can get punished. Like what he said, I can bring down the same iniquity to the third and fourth generation, right? Remember he said here, but lack of knowledge. My people are being destroyed because they do not know me. There's Hosea 4:6. Since you priests refuse to know me, I refuse to recognize you as my priest. Since you have forgotten the laws of your God, I will forget to bless your children. So it's in the flip side. If you forget to bless your children, that's why you see some people doing the same thing you're doing and they getting punished. And on the other side, the next man ain't getting the same punishment what you getting, right? So I'm saying the things we do right now got a lasting effect on our generations to come. The things we doing right now, the decisions that we making have a lasting effect even when we're gone. It's still speaking to our seed. It's still speaking to our generation. That's why we got to be careful what we do, and we got to be doing the right thing, because this is a spiritual legacy you're leaving for them, whether it's good or bad, whether you're letting God forget to bless your children, or in this case here, wicked King Solomon in his last days, when he started worshiping other gods, God still said, I'm going to still leave you on the throne. I'm going to take this away from you, but not during your lifetime. Right? But for the sake of your father David, I will not do this while you are still alive. I will take the kingdom away from your son. So his poor son, who had nothing to do with this, can inherit the kingdom. Right? But here we said, and even so, I will not take away the entire kingdom. I will let him be king of one tribe for the sake of my servant David. And for the sake of Jerusalem, my chosen city. So he's saying, even though Solomon I can take, because you remember Solomon was the third king, and they were in charge of all of Israel, the full 12 tribes. But he's saying, man, Solomon, you so wicked, I want to rip everything away from you. I'm going to rip it away, but not from you, because I've promised your father, you're going to stay on the throne. But I can take it from your son. But even though I'm so mad with you, I tell David, I promise David that his kingdom, your house and your kingdom will continue before me for all time. And your throne will be secure. So I still got to give your son a little piece of the pie, man. Because I make a promise to his grandfather. It's nothing that he do to deserve it. But I made a promise to his grandfather that I'm going to have his throne stand forever. So guess what I got to do, even though I'm so angry with you, Mr. Solomon, for the wickedness you do? I still got to bless your child. And I still got to at least give him one tribe. I can take all the other 11 tribes away, but I got to make him king. Because I promised David that his throne, I got to keep a king within his bloodline. So I'm going to give your son it. So sometimes we being blessed. And sometimes we get in the way with some things that we had nothing to do with. We had nothing to do with. Some of them things we don't even deserve. But because of promises, this is generational blessings. Now we talk a lot about generational curses. Now let's talk about the good side, some generational blessings that our foreparents did. And the good things they did and served the God wholeheartedly. And the promises he made to them. And we reaping the rewards right now. We reaping some of those rewards. And some of them we don't even deserve, frankly, man. But we getting the reward because of promises he made to our foreparents, guys. So I'm just saying to say, God is a man serious with his covenants. And you can leave a spiritual legacy for our kids, a good legacy, by doing good. Even when we gone, David was gone, but his grandchild still was benefiting from what he did all those years ago by serving his God. All right, guys, so I just want to say, man, what we do right now, let's make sure we do a good job of it. So when we gone, our great-grands and our grands and all of them can still be benefiting from the foundation we set up for them right now. Right, guys? So I'm going to leave that there, man. So leave a good foundation for your generations to come. Leave a great foundation for them by doing right, honoring God. Don't worry, servicing other gods. Service the God of Isaac, Jacob, Abraham. That's the God we need to follow. Right, guys? So I'm going to leave that there, man. Have a happy Wednesday, and we'll talk again on Friday. Okay, bye.